Welcome to Niche Smart Learning Solution. So my name is Banala Jaya Raj, biology teacher, and today we are discussing class 7 Niche's integrated textbook, and that book is with 126 pages and also 8 chapters. So first chapter is components of food, and second chapter is nutrition in plants, and third chapter is respiration in plants and animals, and fourth chapter is reproduction in plant, and fifth chapter is nutrition in animal, and sixth one is transportation in plants and animal, and this is the seventh chapter, that is soil our life. So here children, you are seeing a beautiful diagram, and there you see a plant is growing, and you are observing the presence of a green plant that is growing on land. So this is the seventh chapter, that is soil our life, soil our life, and last chapter, that is chapter 8, is forest our life. So like that, there are 8 chapters are there in 7th class Niche's integrated biology textbook, is with 126 pages. So now you are observing a beautiful plant which is green in color, and that is growing on our mother earth. So it is so beautiful, and here you see learning pathway is given, and also chapter wise comparison given, and here you need to focus on this page number 103. So here you see page number 103, and key concepts are given, and also you are observing flow chart that is showing, that is soil our life. So there you see soil our life, key concepts are there, and soil formed by the weather of rocks. So here in this chapter we are learning so how soil is formed, and soil is formed by means of weather. So here weathering of rocks takes place, weathering of the rocks takes place, and earth crust is having what? Mountains and rocks, and weathering of rocks leads to the formation of what? Soil. So here you see the flow chart. So how weathering takes place, and what are the reasons for weathering of rocks? So there you see 3 factors are there. So first factor is climate. So climatic conditions also plays an important role in formation of soil. So that is the first factor, and the second factor is wind. So wind is also helpful in the formation of what? Soil, and the third factor is water. So all these factors, they are helping the formation of what? Soil, and these are called as weathering of rock. And we need to understand about what types of soils. So here in this chapter, so we are observing and we are looking, and there are 3 types of soils are there on the earth. So mainly, so that number 1 loam soil, and second one is sandy soil, and third one is clay soil. So like that, there are 3 types of soils are there, and these soils are formed by means of the weather. So weathering of the rocks. So here weathering of the rocks takes place, and factors for weathering of rocks are, so there you see first one is climate, and second one is you see the presence of wind, and third one is, that is the water. And here in this chapter we are learning so water holding capacity, which type of soil is having more, that is the soil holding capacity, and crops depend on the type of the soil. So farmers, we are growing different types of crops on land, on earth. So here we are growing, and these crops based on the type of the soils which are present on the land. So again you see soil fertility. So here soil is rich with nutrients. So we are eating food. In the same way, plants also need what? Some nutrients, and these nutrients are necessary for plant growth, and that we learn. We are going to learn in this chapter. And last one is crop rotation, growing of different types of crops in a different in a same piece of land in the year, in the year is called as, in the same year called as crop rotation. Growing of different types of crops in the same piece of the land is called as crop rotation. So here you are observing the introductory part that showing how the soil is formed. And I told you soil is how the soil is formed. The topmost layer of the earth crust is called as soil. And I told you how the soil is formed. And this soil is formed by the means of what? Weathering of rocks. And I told you some of the factors like wind and also rain and also climate, and these factors are necessary for weathering of the rocks, and thereby you see the form on the earth crust a layer is formed, and that outermost layer of the earth crust is called as soil. And soil is a dark brown, or so it is maybe black in color. So this is soil is dark brown because the plants have different types of sand particles and different types of plant decay substances. So here animals also they decay, and finally you see formation of what? Humus. So here we need to understand about what is humus. So humus is a substance, and that is an organic matter, and this organic matter is formed by the decomposition of the dead organisms like plants and animals, and finally you see the formation of what? A soft, that is soil, a soft organic substance is formed on the earth. So when this humus is we mixed with the soil, it is giving what? Fertility to soil and strength to the soil, and finally soil is rich with nutrient, and that soil is beneficial soil, and it is useful for the growth of the plant, healthy growth of the plant. And soil also containing a large number of many microorganisms. So many rodents they live in the soil, earthworms they live in the soil, algae, fungi they live in the soil, and bacteria also they live in the soil. So in this way soil become a great and important habitat for many living organism. And also soil also necessary, that is structure, and that is also helpful for the growth of many plants. So in this way soil provide a rich habitat for the growth of plants. So now we need to understand about what uses of soil, and there you see 4 points are there. And here soil is useful for the growth of crop plants, and soil useful for growth of many, that is the trees. So in this way soil is giving nutrients, and it is a structure, and that is necessary for the growth of many organisms. It also useful to glue for many microorganisms. So here this soil is used for growing food crops like grains, pulses, fruits, and also vegetables. So we are growing vegetables, and we are growing fruit in plants, and we are growing food yielding plants on land, and this land should be rich with nutrients and rich with humus. Then only that soil is useful to give more yield by the crops. And the second one, here you see this soil is used to grow trees for obtaining wood. So we are obtaining wood, and wood we are obtaining from the plant, and the plants are growing in the soil. So soil help the plant to grow, and finally these plants they grow and also they become woody, and that wood we are using for our daily benefits. And also this wood is useful to burn, and it is also useful as a fuel. And also many plants that are useful in paper making manufacturing industry. So you are using that paper, and that paper we are getting from the plants, and these plants are growing on land. So here land, the soil is providing a habitat and a media for the growth of the many plants. And the third one is soil used to make bricks, and fourth one is soil used to make earthenware. So here we are using, in summer we are using pots, earthen pots, and also earthen glasses, and also crockery cups, and also plates, toys. So many items we are making with using soil. So in this way soil is useful to mankind. And now you need to understand about how the soil is formed. So here in introductory part we discussed that soil is formed by the weathering, and factors like wind, rain, and climate plays an important role in the formation of the soil. And the soil also habitat for the habitat for what many organisms. I told you algae, fungi, and also microorganisms like rhizobium, and also rodents. Many animals, they live in the soil. So in this way, soil become a habitat for many organisms. So soil is formed by rocks through process of weathering. And I told you the factors for weathering, there are climatic factors are there, wind and rain also helpful, and these make the rock to break, and sunshine, rain, and humidity, and all these factors. So here rocks are exposed to different types of climatic condition, and they are exposed to more, that is the heat, more sunlight, more rain, more humidity, more wind, and finally weathering. This weathering take the rocks to break, and finally the broken piece of the rock, they become what? Small particles, and these small particles, they get what? Mixed with the sand, and finally that form as soil. And the topmost earth layer, the earth crust, is called as soil. So here, by the action of sun heat, wind, rain, flowing rivers, water form tiny rock particles. These tiny rock particles get mixed with humus, and finally use the formation of a fertile soil, and that fertile soil is helpful for to live what? Many organisms, to grow the many trees. So here next we need to understand about what is soil profile. So here we are studying soil on the basis of three different layers. Soil is having three different types of layers, and a vertical section shows there are three different layers in the soil profile. Soil showing three different layers, soil is called as soil profile. The soil showing the different layers, and that is called as soil profile. Soil profile consisting of three different layers of soil. Each layer of the soil is called as a horizon. So here, if you take the transverse section, that is the soil, and there you see three different layers, and these layers are nothing but the soil profile, and each layer of the soil is called as a horizon. Each layer of the soil is called as a horizon. So here we are observing there are three types of horizons in that is soil. Three layers of soil in the soil profile are. So here there are three layers are there in the soil, and each layer of the soil is called as a horizon, and there are three types of horizons are there, and there you see A horizon, that is top soil, and B horizon, subsoil, and the third one is C horizon, that is subterranean stratum. Like that there are three types of horizons are there. Each layer of the soil is called as horizon, and this soil profile consists of three types of horizon. There are A horizon, B horizon, and also C horizon. A horizon is with top soil, and B horizon is with the subsoil, that is it is present just below the A horizon, and the C horizon is present below the B horizon, and that is called as substratum. Like that there are three horizons are there, and you are observing a diagram that is showing different types of horizon, and also observing soil profile. So there is top soil, and top soil is having sand particle, clayey particle, and it is get mixed with humus, and it is become fertile due to the presence of sand particle, and also clayey particle, and also loamy particle, and also by the presence of dead organisms, of dead decaying matter of plants and animal, and finally that top soil is becoming a rich, that is bed for the growth of the many plants, and also it is giving a shelter to many living organisms. So in this way soil is formed. And also we discuss what soil profile, and also we discuss there are each layer of the soil is called as a horizon. There are three types of horizons are there: A horizon, topsoil; B horizon, that is the subsoil; and C horizon, that is called as substratum. So here we need to understand about different types of horizon: A horizon, B horizon, and also C horizon. So A horizon is the topmost earth crust, earth layer, and it is with humus, it is with sand, it is brown in color, and this top soil is a bed for the growth of, and it is giving what many nutrients to the plants and also giving shelter to many living organisms. So this is important, that is part of the earth crust, and it is giving what shelter to many living organisms. It is also providing what many nutrients to the growth of the plants and also giving shelter to the many microorganisms. And second horizon is B horizon, and this B horizon is also called as subsoil, and this subsoil is present just below the A horizon, and it is having what bigger rocks and sand particles are there. And here you see some of the living organisms they live, but not many, and that is about what B horizon. And next C horizon, that is present just below the B horizon, and there you see the subsoil is C horizon, and substratum is made up of small lumps of broken stones and rocks, and here weathering of rocks takes place, bedrocks takes place, and substratum is a part of the soil, and here it consists of what smaller and so bigger sand particles and also rock particles. Children, so here in this diagram, page number 105, you are observing a diagram showing what soil profile. Each layer of the soil profile is called as horizon. Each layer of soil is called as a horizon, and there are three types of horizons are there. That is A horizon, topsoil, and it is rich with nutrients, and it is rich with what humus, and it is providing shelter for many living organisms, and it is also having what nutrient rich what organic matter is there, and thereby many plants they grow on the top soil. And below the top soil, that is the A horizon, there is what B horizon, and it is also giving what shelter to living organism, but not many, very small number of the living organisms they live, and it consists of what bigger, that is sand particle and a rock particle, and the horizon that is present below the B horizon is called as C horizon, and this C horizon is having what bigger rock particle, and weathering also takes place, and it consists of what rock and also sand particles. And now we need to understand about what there are 7 questions are given in text, that is in text question. So what is soil? So here the uppermost layer of the earth crust is called as soil, and it is formed by the weathering of rocks, and that is called as soil. That answer you need to write for this question. What is soil? The topmost layer of the earth crust is called as soil, and it is a rich bed for nutrients for the growth of the plants, and it is giving shelter to many living organisms. It is a habitat. And how soil is formed? I told you soil is formed by weathering of rocks. So there are 3 factors for weathering of rocks: climatic factors, wind and rain, and also humidity, and sunlight also plays an important role in weathering of rocks. And what is the horizon? So in soil profile we discuss, and there are 3 horizons are there. So here each layer of the soil is called as a horizon. So what is horizon means? Each layer of a soil is called as horizon, and there are 3 types of horizons are there: A horizon, topsoil; B horizon, subsoil; and C horizon, that is substrate. Like that you see 3 types of horizons are there. What is weathering? So here weathering is nothing but the rocks, they undergo weathering, and here in weathering we are observing factors like climatic factors and also humidity and also wind and sunlight, and these factors all together we call as weathering. And weathering of the rocks causing what? Formation of what? Soil. And what is soft and what is porous layer of the soil? What is the soft and porous layer of the soil called? And that is called as loamy soil. So loamy soil is a soft soil. And what is soil profile? So a soil profile means here we are studying that is soil on the basis of the layers which are present in the soil, and soil consists of three different layers. A vertical section showing, suppose if you cut that is soil, that earth crust, it is showing what? Different layers of the soil, and this is nothing but soil profile, and each layer of the soil is called as a horizon. And that is the answer for the sixth question. What is bedrock? So here bedrock, here you see bedrock. So here you see substratum is made up of small lumps of broken rock or stones formed by the partial weathering of bedrock or parent rock. So parental rock or bedrock is called as you need to write what? Bedrock is nothing but parental rock. Parental rock is called as bedrock. Now we need to understand about what? Types of soils. So already I told you. So weathering of what? Rocks causing what? Soil. And here climatic factors and rain and water also plays an important role in the formation of what? Different types of what? Soil. And we are observing not the same type of soil on every part of the land, but we are observing different types of soil in different countries, in different areas. So they are of three types. They are number one, first one is sandy soil, and second one is clayey soil, and third one is loamy soil. Like that you see soils are of the three types. So sandy soil, so here the water holding capacity in case of sandy soil is less, and sandy soil is not holding water so much, and thereby in the sandy soil, and here plants are not grow well, and sandy soil is having what? Little amount of humus and also organic matter, and that is the reason sandy soils are not used for growing what? Different types of crops, and also sandy soils also not giving shelter to many plant, giving shelter to many living organisms. So that is about what? Sandy soil, and the fertility is also less. And next we need to understand about what is clayey soil. Clayey soil contain mainly contain very small particles, very small spaces, and the clayey soil contain very little humus, and this is and these factors are necessary favoring that is and this clayey soil is having what? More water holding capacity, thereby this soil is also a fertile soil, and this soil can be used for the growth of the different types of crops. And next, last one is loamy soil, and loamy soil is a soil, and that soil is with sand, clay, silt and humus, and in right proportion. So that is the reason this loamy soil provides what? That is strength, and it is giving strength to the plant to grow well, and humus is there, and the humus is formed by the decaying of the dead organic matter, so and also plants and animals, and it consists of what? Nutrients, and many microorganisms live in loamy soil, and thereby loamy soil is useful for to grow up vegetable crops, and also crop that is we are eating what? Different types of food yielding plants, and also we can grow what? Gram plants. Like that this soil is helpful for the growth of many plants. So like that here children in this soil is life. So we discussed there are three types of soils are there. So sandy soil, and next one is clayey soil, and third one is loamy soil. Loam soil, three types of soil: sandy soil, clayey soil, and so last one is loamy soil. Like that three soils are there, and here we need to understand about what are the properties of soil. So here soil is an important that is structure, and this is helpful for the growth of the plants, and also soil giving what shelter to many living organisms I told you, and microorganisms like algae, fungi and rhizopas, and also rhizome bacteria, and earthworms and beetles and rodents, and all are getting what shelter to the in the soil. So in this way soil is a habitat for many living organisms. So soil contain water, soil contain air, and soil can absorb water. So here all these are the properties of the soil, and here soil contain air. Yes, so here in the soil air is present, in between the sandy particle air is present, and air is having what oxygen and different gases, and the roots that are growing in the soil, and they may what absorb the oxygen that is present in the air. So here aeration of the soil, and that aerated soil is helpful for the growth of the plant. And next, soil contain moisture. Yes, so here soil is having what moisture, and water content is there, and that moisture is absorbed by the root hairs, and the root hair consists of what that mechanism to absorb this water, thereby a transport system helps in the absorption of root water by the roots, and that what is the transport to different parts of the plant body. So here soil contain air and soil contain moisture, and here we need to do a small activity, whether soil is having what moisture or not. So take a dry test tube and take what little amount of what soil and heat it over a spirit lamp. So after some time you will observe that formation of what droplets at the edges in the inner edges of the that is the dry water test tube. So it shows that soil consists of moisture. So here you see, to show that soil contain water or moisture or water. So procedure: take a dry boiling test tube and put 2 spoonful of soil in it and heat it on a flame and observe it. So suppose if you heat this test tube which is having soil over a spirit lamp, after some time you see from the soil after heating it is releasing what water vapor, and small droplets of water seen in the upper portion of the tube. After heating of the soil, take it out of the tube, compare with the soil which is not heated. So here the soil, if you take two types of soil, the soil which is not heated and also soil which is heated, and the heated soil is not having moisture. Why? Because the moisture that is present in the heated soil is already escaped out, so during the process of heating. So this activity confirms that soil is having moisture, that is nothing but water. And now we need to understand about what another one, absorption of water in the soil. So here we discuss there are 3 types of soils are there, and the sandy soil, clayey soil, loamy soils, and loamy soil and clayey soil are best soils, and they can have what more water holding capacity when compared to sandy soil. So water holding capacity in case of clayey soil and loamy soil is more, and thereby they can give what water and also nutrients to the growth of the plant, also the microorganisms which are living in the soil. And now we need to do a small activity. So how the whether the soil is holding water or not. So here we are taking what, first we need to take what, a measuring cylinder. So this is a measuring cylinder, and we need to take what, a plastic funnel. This is a plastic funnel, and take a filter paper and fold and place it as shown in the figure. So here this is a funnel. So in the funnel we need to take what, a filter paper which is folded which kept in the funnel, and weight 50 gram of dry powder soil and pour in the funnel. So here we need to pour what, soil, and it is about 50 grams and it is dry soil, and take a certain amount of water in the measuring cylinder and pour it drop by drop on the soil. Note its reading A and pour water all over the soil, keeping pouring water till it start dripping. Note the final reading, that is B, and note the volume that used. So here we are doing this activity. So whether the soil is holding water or not. So here soil shows holding capacity of the water, and thereby you see weight of the dry soil is 50 grams already weighted, and initial volume of the water in the measuring cylinder is A, and final volume of the water in the measuring cylinder is B, and volume of the water absorbed of the soil is nothing but A minus B gives what? Milliliters of water, and weight of the water absorbed by the soil is A minus B grams. 1 milliliters of water has weight of 1 gram. Percentage of water absorbed is A minus B into percentage means 100 by 50, and result is the given sample of soil contains dash percent of moisture. So here this activity we are conducting whether the soil is holding the water or not. So here clay soil and loamy soils are the soils, they can hold the water, and thereby this holding capacity of the soil is helpful for the growth of the plant. Thereby plants, they have root system, and root system called root hairs, and the roots hair they absorb the water that is present in this soil, and thereby plants they transport this water through xylem as well to different parts of the plant body, that we studied already. Now here you see we need to understand about what is soil erosion. So here there are many factors which are making the soil infertile. So here sometimes strong winds, and these strong winds also cause and to remove the topmost layers of the soil, and they may wash out this during what floods and during what strong winds, and there you see the uppermost soil is removed by the these climatic conditions and these the hazards. So finally that soil become what? Infertile, and that is called as soil erosion. Top soil is very fertile, I told you. Top soil is having what? Tiny sand particle, and it is brown in color, and it is having organic matter, and this is found by the decaying of the dead organism, also decay of the plant and animal body, and that is called as humus, and it is fertile. And this top soil is carried away strong by winds or washed away by heavy rain. Sometimes strong wind they wash away the topmost soil, and also and you see heavy rains also they wash the top soil. In this way removal of the fertile soil, top soil takes place, and that is called as soil erosion. And that is called as soil erosion. So the topmost fertile soil is removed by means of strong winds and also by means of heavy rains, and that is called as soil erosion. And the loss of fertile top soil at the place exposed to infertile subsoil which cannot used for the growth of the plant. So I told you. So here that soil erosion causes what? Infertile soil, and that infertile soil is not having what? Manure and humus, also organic matter, thereby that soil is not in a position to support the growth of the plants, and also it is not habitat for many living organisms. And now we need to understand about some important crops and also types of soil which are suitable for the growth of the different crops. So here there are different types of soils are there on earth, and we human beings are growing different types of crops in different soils, but not same type of crops in a particular type of soil. So here what are the soils which are suitable for the growth of the wheat, and what are the soils which are suitable for the growth of cotton, and what are the soils which are suitable for the growth of tobacco, and what are the soils which are useful for the growth of vegetables, and that information is given in this page number 109. clay soil and loamy soils are both are suitable for growing of cereals like wheat and gram. Such as soils are good for retaining water. The best soil for growing wheat crop is loamy soil. This is because loamy soil is rich with humus and very fertile. So loamy soils are best suitable soils, and these soil consisting of what that is humus soil and also organic matter and water holding capacity for this loamy soil is more. So that is the reason farmers are preferring loamy soil for the growth of different growing of different cereal plants. And also soil rich in clay and organic matter and having very good capacity to retain water is ideal growing for paddy. So here the soil which is having more water soil, more that is water holding capacity, that soil is useful for growth of what rice plant, and for growing lentil and other pulses, loamy soil which drains water easily, and for growing cotton crop, sandy loam soil which drains water easily, and we are using sandy loam soil for growing of cotton. And so here in this page we discuss what are the soils which are useful for the growth of different types of crops. And now we need to discuss about what in-text question that are given in this page number 109. And here you see page number 109, and there are 7 questions are there, and all questions are easy to attempt. So name the best soil for growing a plant. So already we discussed that is loamy soil is rich with nutrients and water holding capacity is high. So that is the reason loamy soil is useful for the growth of the plants, many plants. Which soil has largest holding that is water holding capacity. So largest holding capacity is with what loamy soil. So here you see loamy soil is having what largest holding water capacity, largest water holding capacity we are observing in case of loamy soil. The next question is list out some uses of clay soil. So clay soil and loamy soil. Clay soil is useful for the growth of wheat crops, and it is also useful for the growth of gram, and also it is useful for growth of many what plants. And what is a loamy soil? Already we discussed. And what is the soil moisture? So here the topmost layer of the earth crust is a soil, and the soil consists of moisture. Already we did a small activity to know whether the soil is having moisture or not, and that moisture present in the soil. In this way, that soil is useful for the growth of the plant. Next, which soil contain greater proportion of big particles? So here sandy particles, sandy soil. So it consists of more what big particles, and water holding capacity also less. And what are the use of soil? So we discuss all these are the use of soil, and you may select 1 or 2 points and you write for answer, and you write answer for this question. So here we discuss 7 in-text question, and finally children we need to discuss about the summary that is given in this chapter, that is chapter 7, soil our life. There you see 9 what points are there. Soil is formed by the process of weathering. Yes, already we discussed. So yes, soil is formed by the weathering of the rocks. So here weathering of the rocks, I told you there are many factors for the formation of soil. I told you, we discussed there are climate, wind, and also rocks.